Over the last 6 episodes, we completed an epic 3,000-mile road trip around Europe, from Newcastle to Amsterdam, with a little scenic detour via Switzerland, Venice, Croatia and Prague. As well as myself, David, the geography expert and filmmaker of the trip, there was Badger, head of hospitality, Jamie, main driver, Ethan, co-pilot, and Win, who basically just got to live life as a dog for 2 weeks. I say 2 weeks, it was actually 16 days, which was a lot of footage to try and fit into 6 half-an-hour long episodes. So in this after show, we're going to go through everything which either wasn't on film or didn't make it into the series. I don't know if I use that intro or not. I don't know. Well, I think the best way to start it is actually at the very beginning, like literally how we started the trip, which wasn't actually how it started in episode 1, because we do have a bit of a problem with engagement, and you know, with YouTube you've got to kind of cut things down a lot. So that whole like scene at Whitley Bay Lighthouse was you know, it was kind of to set the scene.
Probably the only thing that was actually set up.
Yeah,
I think if you couldn't tell by the B-Tech acting,
it was brilliant acting.
Fucking phenomenal.
So how it actually started was obviously us picking up the motorhome from the depot.
And it does like the oh my god, what the fuck?
Oh, will I fit? Oh, this is. I need to get used to how big this is.
Is this a good idea, or was this a good idea?
Oh mate, there's a few things I hate with it compared to the vans that normally drive.
That fucking noise for one.
That noise for one, yeah. The fact that the steering wheel, you have to turn it so much for it to actually do anything. And the fact that it's really, really wide.
You know, this is the most peace we're gonna have for the next 60 days. It's just us two sitting here in this moment, chatting absolute shite.
Don't know where we're going, got no way of knowing, driving on the road to nowhere.
How am I?
Looking for a living, checking out the women, oi, driving on the road to nowhere.
Right, ready?
Whenever you're ready.
Let's go! Bye!
Yeah.
Are we going on the Euston Road?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, he's not going that way.
The road that your mum specifically said don't go along the Euston Road.
Oh yeah!
Our first impression of Motorhome, it was more like you were on like a double-decker bus.
Yeah.
Because it felt like hollow, not like a coach, because a coach is a bit more sturdy.
Feels solid.
Yeah, it was just like a
Soundproof.
pure like shell, and I was just like, Jamie, this racket is going to do my head in.
Remain calm, practice heavy breathing techniques.
I've got issues.
Describe the whole thing.
Can't believe Jamie put out like that fucking thing down there.
You know when you get like a new car, and you know how to drive, you're fine. You know you're fine. But it's anything that's new, slightly different, it's a bit unsettling. It takes a little while. That's like, it shouldn't exist. Like everything's fucking different. Nothing's where it's supposed to be.
When we shot the scene where you arrive, when you drove off with the motorhome for the first time, you had the handbrake on.
I had the handbrake on, and I went the wrong way through a one-way, which a lovely old lady was nice enough to tell me. So it was off to a really good start.
Why is it beeping, Jamie?
It's beeping.
The handbrake.
He's been driving with the handbrake on.
In my defense, that handbrake was awful.
It was awful.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the wrong side.
It just
For people who didn't realise, it's on the wrong side.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like it got to the point where you're like, okay, surely it's off now, and there's another 1.5 foot to keep fucking going.
The bit,
I'm just used to it.
the parking scene bit when you're obviously like
looking at the wrong place for the handbrake. But then it's the bit that I don't think people quite understand as well. Yes.
There's nothing to see.
Yeah.
I
don't think people do get that.
Wind, like, wind's not going to be able to help you out here because wind's looking forward and you're going back.
Yeah. There was we had you had the screen, the reversing screen, because obviously like if you look behind you're just going to see the bunk beds. But Ethan actually looked behind.
You know, the worst part about that is it took my brain a solid few seconds to figure out what was wrong with that picture. I was like, hang on a minute.
It wasn't actually like you driving wasn't actually too bad, to be fair.
No,
I think you were more sensible than you could have.
I mean, with everything else, I mean, you get into your swing pretty quick. I think after the first proper long haul, certainly by the time we got to the Alps and stuff, by that point I was absolutely fine. It was just really fun.
There's the high up nature of it.
This big, daft, boaty, horrible, uncontrollable vehicle. It's just fun.
Well, seriously, I'm impressed if you admit that, because one of the most common memories I think is when Ethan would be driving and you'd be in the front, and all you can hear is "No, Ethan, slow down, slow down,
brake."
Just take it in 2 or 1, Ethan.
What did you do to become a fucking driving instructor? Use the brakes at the end.
That was a good speed.
You know, his patronising tone makes me want to go faster.
No, don't worry, Ethan. I hate myself as well. I hate how I sound. It just is how I am.
Here we go.
But unfortunately, I can't help the fact that I like to be safe and want to see to live another day. So
I mean, to be fair, after putting this out, someone could actually kill me now, and I would die happy because I've put this EU road trip out for everyone.
Same boat, mate.
Very nice.
Same boat.
You know,
We've done it. We peaked.
One thing
We have peaked. It's all downhill from here. Thanks for watching.
well, a lot of people have said they don't know how we're going to beat it.
It's all down.
It's
all down.
It's all hill.
It's all hill.
Down, yeah, so-
I mean, one of us has to kick the bucket.
It's all done here from hill.
That's gotta be it.
For the views, one of us is going to have to kick the bucket. Like, we'll pull straws.
The memorial road trip.
Oh my god. Someone, buy a hearse. I want you to cart me body around in a hearse on a road trip.
Go through the whole road trip in a hearse instead.
Prop us
You're
up
at
like
the
a puppet.
Open casket trip.
Yes.
getting back to what you were saying before about you driving. The one clip that I didn't put in that I do want to show is when you did actually drive on the wrong side. Play the clip.
What was that?
I don't remember.
So it was driving
but I
through
believe
Switzerland
you.
on the Fluella Pass. We just pulled over to take a drone shot.
Yeah.
So I'd got some drone shots. I think you were turning around in the middle. No, it would have been you driving. You're turning around in the middle of the road. There was
Sounds
a
like
car
something-
stopped and
Sounds like
everything.
something I would do.
And then you pulled back, went back into the parking bay, and were sat eating. And then you drove off on the wrong side.
Oh yeah, that's the UK side.
There's a car in the distance. There's a car in the distance. If it was higher quality, you would have been able to see that better. But yeah, I think you must have just suddenly saw that in the distance.
It was absolutely an autopilot thing. I was just like, this is normal. Why is that car in front of me?
Because the road was dead. Like I thought it would have been more busy, but the road was dead. So
Entirely dead.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Another part is when I got out to take a shot of yous crossing a wooden bridge as we got to Lake Tovel.
Also don't remember this.
No, I know. I don't think anyone does. I mean, I only found it... I wasn't in the motorhome, as you'll see. I only found it when I watched back the footage. I'd got out to get a shot of the motorhome, and then you just forgot to pick me back up. So play the clip. It's forgot David.
Oh, did we say it on the?
Oh shit, how are this?
So it says.
Right, where we go?
Down there, it's parked down there.
That'd be safer. Oh, they're for buses.
You were pissing me off quite a bit.
So that went on for about 2 minutes down the road.
The thing is, David's gonna have to start running because he's not gonna know where we went.
Oh, did we?
Oh my god!
For all, just a simultaneous.
We didn't
oh
realise.
shit!
We didn't realise for 2 minutes, did he say?
Oh yeah, there was a solid 2 minutes of he was driving down there, and I was just kind of walking behind. I was like, I'm just gonna follow them, but like, I'm assuming they've just done that because they're being dicks and they can't be arsed to pick us
I
up.
thought maybe you could do with some more B-roll.
That's
And
mad.
wasn't there not a bit straight after that where you went missing as a prank or something?
Oh.
And you pranked Jake.
That went on for
Yous had a
so
prank.
little payoff.
You put a curtain over and you
So little fucking payoff. Yeah.
Yeah, because what was it? You'd suddenly disappeared somehow. I don't know where
I
you
don't
went.
think I did. I think
No,
I
you
went,
didn't.
I think I just popped out
I just didn't know where he was.
briefly, but you're very gullible. So
And then no, I think it's because
That's cool.
it felt like throughout the entire trip, right? I was like, where is somebody, or where's Ethan? Where the hell?
it was mostly where's Ethan.
It was mostly
Which is
where's
fair
Ethan.
enough.
But then like I had one of those moments again, and I was like, where the fuck is he? We're gonna go find him. And then you came with us, Win. We went on a nice little walk in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
We went miles all the way up to the lake.
Yeah.
A nice little walk. It was terrifying, I won't lie.
Yeah.
I remember
and
that.
then we came back.
Because it was getting dark, wasn't it?
That's the,
It was
So here's the-
pitch
Yeah.
black.
so that the reason that backfired, right, is because I expected you to like fuck off for maybe 5 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to know that you had genuine concern and you spent far too long actually looking for me. But it kept going, and I got to the point. I just looked at Padge. I was like, "What if they get lost now? And now we have to find them, and it's all gone wrong."
Yeah, I think that must have been after we went to the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. we
And
just
then
got there.
like before the fireflies. So another thing that we forgot that wasn't like on film was when we bought the tickets for the boat in Venice, and then we're already a bit kind of delayed that day, and then we went to the boat at about maybe like 5:30. The guy asked for our tickets and I was like, "All right, okay, tickets. Oh yeah.
Win forgot the tickets, so we have to wait an hour.
Was
Bearing
it?
in mind-
I don't know whose fault it was,
Bearing
like,
in
but
mind, the last thing we did before we got suited up, all fucking good, cushy. Have we got the tickets?
It's because everybody said that everybody else was going to get them.
yeah, I know,
Nobody
yeah.
actually got them.
Yeah, it
But
was
then we
one of
got
them
to
things
it.
where no one was
And they
designated.
were
when
Yeah.
just on the table.
Yeah, they literally were on the table. It was just funny though, because when we got there, I can't remember who was first. It was probably you, David. And then you were like, you were first. Were like, have you got the tickets? And you went to Badger, and Badger was like, I don't have the tickets. Do you have the tickets? And I was like,
yeah,
I don't have the tickets. Do you have the
went
tickets? Went down the queue and we were like, does anyone fucking have the tickets?
No. So we're delayed for like, what, an hour or so, which meant that by the time we got to Venice, the last boat left at 8 o'clock to go back. So originally the plan was, let's go to Venice about 5, come back on the 8 o'clock boat. Yous obviously didn't agree with that, and to be honest, we wouldn't have made it
Never
anyway.
going to happen.
We wouldn't have made it anyway.
Let's be
So
real.
8 o'clock at night ended up turning to 5 o'clock in the morning.
What a fucking adventure, though.
Exactly.
What an adventure.
A
Yeah,
memory that,
that-
I will
exactly.
cherish.
I
Not
would,
that I remember much of
I
it, but
would
no.
not having watched this back and everything like that in hindsight, would not have complained at all because of what the footage that we got that night. I
If
mean,
we'd gone home at 8, it would have been, oh,
it
what?
would have been shit.
Yeah, like 10 years time, I'd be going, oh, I went to Venice, it was okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think we
We
all remember every single part of that
destroyed
night.
Well, you don't. You only remember it
no,
thanks to
that's
me.
true, That's true. But everyone has memories of Venice.
Yes,
I will say,
yes.
I've been blackout drunk in a lot of places, and it can be quite scary. Venice is the most terrifying place to be
Yeah, it
blackout
was
drunk.
creepy, wasn't it?
Every fucking path you go down looks the same. It's like a maze out of like fucking Spyro or some
Yeah, I
shit.
felt like
Like
it was on Assassin's Creed.
I
It was
felt
a
like
major
I was.
maze.
I felt like I was in like the First World War or the Second World War at some point because there's this really old alley, and then I just smelled like freshly baked bread at like 3:45 in the morning. It just reminded me of like old, like someone baking bread in an oven, and
feel
like
like I remember you talking
like
about
Not gonna lie, I didn't have any sense,
like-
let alone smell.
No.
It was, and there was
No.
like you had all these like
No.
dim little street lights along the walls. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just like this doesn't really feel like
it
2022, does it?
definitely-
It feels a bit like
it definitely had a very creepy, ominous vibe. The fact that literally like almost on the dot, like because there was a decent amount of nightlife, at least where we were, like a good amount of bars,
Not
a
what
fair
we
amount of
were gonna
people.
be like though.
It just suddenly
And
got...
then literally
Yeah.
on the dot, it was like, right, that's it, everyone go home.
And then the
Yeah.
streets
Oh,
were... And the
nice.
streets were absolutely
Not
empty.
a single, not even
Yeah.
like a random drunk on the side, nothing. Just we
It
were
was-
the only
it was
people in
weird.
Venice. It was like vacant.
It was
was
like walking
completely empty.
through Venice in lockdown. It was literally like walking through it in
Yeah.
lockdown. But it was a side that I don't think many people will see that. You know.
Also,
how
No,
many-
no one else has seen
Venice. More bridges, please. Sort your shit
Oh
out.
yeah.
Sort your shit. Why
Yeah,
is
so
there like
that-
two fucking bridges?
That wasn't particularly well, kind of, because I was trying not to use the camera too much, because I didn't know how long we were going to be stuck there. And then, yeah, the bit where you're like, oh shit, I'm like, it's a dead end. So we had literally come to the canal between San Marco Island and the other one.
I don't
And there was not a bridge there. And the boats weren't on, because I have little boats
'Cause it was
ferrying
4
you
in the
across.
morning.
Unfortunately, that does cut off there. And you may think we did that deliberately, but I just stopped recording for some reason. We're just like, shit, and then stop recording. And I got told
I
off
think
by David.
reality probably hit you of, oh fuck.
Yeah, like, oh, stop recording. We're actually stuck in Venice.
Well,
I mean, there's
I'm
worse
actually-
places.
I'm just gonna throw this one out there. I actually had full charge the entire night.
Yeah, but you didn't have
you
data
doing?
because you didn't buy data for the trip.
Oh, I didn't have
So
data.
your
Oh,
phone
it
was
was
useless.
pointless.
It was pointless.
I had full charge.
Yeah, hence why you had full charge. You didn't have any data. And then
Not that it would matter because you physically couldn't have opened your phone if you tried.
and then oh no, and then the clip which followed that. Oh my god, like you were asleep on the wall. You look absolutely sick to death. You've got your phone on hold at a company.
I
then-
wish someone had witnessed the mermaids other than me.
I saw them.
I just kind of
I was there. We were all there.
Yeah,
I've
for
lost
people
my
who
mind.
don't know,
I swear to
there was a woman that was skinny dipping, which
There
I
was a-
obviously didn't film.
There was a couple.
That
There was a
Ethan
couple
thought
skinny dipping.
invited him.
Well, they did, but I was wearing a full suit
Yeah.
and very drunk. It's like any other night.
I'm starting to remember things now. We walked for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Hence why I was trying to move us closer to the taxi ramp.
Mate,
David said he knows where the bars are.
Where do we go now?
I have a sneaking,
Where do we go
I have a
now?
sneaking suspicion he's lying. I think he's leading us closer to the taxi so he doesn't have to walk as far.
I don't know exactly how much time we spent on hold with that taxi company,
You know, next.
but it felt like a fucking eternity.
I know.
Yeah.
I
I
was
was
so
just-
sick of hearing that bastard jingle over and over. I nearly took your phone and just threw it. And I was like, no, I can't do that. It's the only phone we have.
I felt like I've just felt a bit lost and useless. I felt like a 16-year-old kid who had just left home, and like
was
you
stuck
don't
in
have a
it.
car, you don't have much money,
Yeah.
you don't have any means.
You don't
of
speak
anything.
the language.
Yeah, just
So,
lost.
to be fair, we are so unbelievably lucky to have you in the group, because if that was just us and we didn't have a designated sober person, we'd probably still be there.
I
You know what
very much
mean?
agree. Thank
I
you,
would have
David.
sat there quite happily. Not gonna lie.
I think you would have done. Yeah.
We would have just been forced to start a new life. It's like, we can't go back. Fuck it. This is mine now.
Anyway, here's all of the unused clips and deleted scenes from that evening. There's a bit more
Bravo.
of you getting drunk. So
Boom.
yeah.
I am the top lad, na 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 na, hey, na 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 na, hey, na 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 na, hey. Hello, pal.
Oh yeah, watch Wynn's arm here. So Wyn, you can see Wyn pointing like that. A minute goes by and then you see his arm.
Newcastle, England. Newcastle, England. Yes. Need to go to Newcastle.
They're yours.
I don't understand languages anymore.
Pizza and pasta 3 minutes away.
Bistro and pasta 3 minutes away.
Oi, oi.
I'm just saying.
There's Jamie.
Jamie's lost.
Can't
Fuck
say.
him.
Alright.
Oi, oi, Savoy, let's go.
Alright, Savoy.
Get subscribed to 4 Idiots.
Come on.
YouTube, yeah, 4 Idiots.
Fucking hell.
Promotion.
So this bit,
need to get a
right,
taxi.
I've just put it in again
need to
just
get a
because
taxi.
I just Wyn there. It's just like my reaction watching all of it back as well when I was editing it. I honestly, I couldn't breathe like editing it.
Fucking Wyn.
I was like, this is unbelievably funny.
we
Honestly,
made friends with
Maybe,
a lot of
maybe we'll see more skinny dippers on
a lot of people.
Maybe we'll see more people.
It's a splendid hotel somewhere. There you go.
Jamie,
Yeah. What?
we need to walk.
Okay.
Stop filming.
I didn't.
I'm filming.
Just imagine that.
I'm getting the moment. David. I'm going. Don't you worry.
Don't waste the battery on your phone because
Okay.
mine's about to die.
Okay. I'm just
I don't
gonna.
have any way of charging it.
I know that for a fact that I'm gonna watch this back and go, oh my god, you're an absolute idiot. But for some reason we think we look good. Okay. David doesn't want me to film, but I'm really drunk, but I'm kind of in the moment. We're in Venice, which
need
is
to wear more suits.
incredible. Them three are very drunk. David's really stressed.
What percentage is your phone on?
I'll check, don't you worry. See you later. Love yous.
Absolutely brilliant.
Iconic.
There is an even more iconic thing.
Yeah, there's a really
Which-
iconic thing.
I know we've all been wanting and waiting for the right time. It did not make it into the film for very good reasons.
Oh.
So the day after, when we were all kind of going through our phones to relive some memories, and I don't know why, but I got this brainwave of, was there a moment where Wynn pissed in a bin? I don't know if I'm just making this up, but I feel strongly like I remember a moment where Wynn was just cock out in Venice, pissing in a bin. And I was like, surely not. That doesn't sound like Wynn. That's too far. And I can't remember whose phone it was on. I was like, there you go. And there's just this, it is fucking beautiful, like mosaic.
Can we show the image though?
So-
I don't think we can.
Just perfectly framed. This long, wide shot. Just Wynn on his own at the end of this dimly lit fucking street. Cock out, pissing in a bin, breezing his hair.
Oh,
fucking beautiful.
Iconic.
A historic Italian city bustling with tourists. However, as the day makes way to the night, this rather chaotic scene becomes something of a ghost town. There are few creatures that can survive in this lonely, desolate environment, but once in a blue moon, nature calls. Wynn pissing in a bin, a spectacle only witnessed after consuming multiple Long Island iced teas. This man has reached the limits of his brain and requires a soulmate to guide him out of his rather tragic state. As he staggers along the streets, one of his pack comes back to navigate him. This man may be saved, but for many, these streets will take their life.
it's so hard
Iconic.
to get across how funny
Iconic.
that was, though.
Iconic.
Because it was just, I was just going through the photos. I was like, this is funny, and you were like, I swear at one point I saw Wynn pissing a bin.
The fact that it's
And
documented.
then I went over.
It's so good.
Well, because I was like,
so good.
what? And then I zoomed in. I was like, holy shit!
It was like a scene you'd see like in The Hangover.
Yeah. Why was it taking a photo?
I don't know, but I'm so glad.
It
you
was
did.
like the Hangover.
It's so beautifully shot. It's everything about it. Like
It's a good photo.
the framing, the
You
lighting.
need to get Holly to paint a picture of
Please,
that.
please. I will,
Hey, Ollie, can you
I will,
paint a picture of my
I will
mate's
pay. I will pay the commission. I will pay the commission. Yes, I'm gonna have it as a centerpiece.
Then we can release it, can't we?
Yeah,
I guess so, yeah. It's a collectible piece.
Yeah.
Limited edition.
There you go.
That was at 2:40 in the morning.
Slide note to yours to go.
Aye, right. Can't be fucking started.
Moving on from Venice to the part of the film where everything kind of goes
Tits up.
down. Yeah, everything gets out of hand. It started with us getting into Slovenia quite late, delayed because of obviously Venice and you spending too long in the sea in Croatia because
Well, I fucking
some
paid for that though,
Canadian
didn't I?
lasses turned up with a Canadian or American.
I believe they're
I think they were
Canadian.
Canadian.
I believe they were Canadian.
They turned up and then you were like, let's stay a bit longer.
Yeah, I like the view.
So yeah, we got to Slovenia very late. We hadn't booked a campsite. we just weren't very organised.
We got very.
You were like, oh, we'll pull off onto this little gravel dirt. I don't know who it was. Pull off onto this little gravel
Sometimes
dirt
in
track.
life, you've just got to make an executive decision.
Yes.
It was getting dark.
Sometimes you have
I
to
know.
travel the path less.
At that point, I saw some signs which had a red circle around the white. I was like, I don't know what these signs would be in the UK. You don't really see them, but they look like a bit dodgy. Like, maybe don't do this.
Warning.
You know,
So
there's a phrase, right? People can second guess you, but when you second guess yourself, that's when you know you're in the ship. So that's why I decided to make an executive decision and just go, right lads, we're going to go down here for the night. It's 9 o'clock at night. It's going to rain. It's dark. We just need to go somewhere now because there's nowhere else we're going to find.
I mean, beautiful.
Oh,
Incredible scenery, especially with the thunderstorm.
Wow.
All of it. Absolutely fucking mind-blowing. Did go a bit downhill.
Yeah. There was the police, which
There was the police.
I actually predicted because I saw those signs.
You did call that one. You did call
I
that
saw
one.
those signs, and I did actually Google it, and it seemed to suggest that it was like a work-in, a login sort of area. Like
how does it feel to be a criminal?
Yeah. It's kind of poetic justice that I actually did get that because I was the one that knew that I was in the wrong, whereas you were just oblivious to it completely. So I actually knew that we probably shouldn't have driven down that track.
No.
And then when you were like, oh, we'll get woken up by a bear in the morning, I was like, no, it won't be the roaring of a bear. It'll be some police knocking on the door at 6 in the morning.
It'll be some
because
dodgy
we've camped
cops
in an illegal spot.
Extorting you for some money.
And then that actually happened.
Hang on, I'm going to tell the story how it actually happened.
Here we go.
Because
it wasn't my fault.
No, because none of you were actually conscious for this.
What?
And none of you were actually there.
Well, when the police...
Yeah.
No, I was. I just refused to get out of bed.
I was
Yeah,
away.
But it
You
wasn't any
did
of
deal
yous.
with it,
It wasn't
though.
any of you that dealt with it, it was me.
Yeah, no, because I made a conscious decision. I was awake. You
No,
were above me.
no,
We're in the
no.
same position.
No.
I decided I can't be asked to deal with this. I'm going to let someone else do it.
Well, there was reasons for that, wasn't
I
there?
mean, I was down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
You dealt with it up until the point where it then got passed to my passport.
The point where I got legal. The point where someone had to take the fucking fall.
So what you're saying is you sort of dealt with it, but then actually not really at all.
Right. This is what actually happened, right?
Here we go.
Story time with Badger.
Story time.
Right. It got to about 7:30 in the morning. Everyone was all fast asleep. Just like that. And then all of a sudden you hear...
Hello.
On the door. And I was like, what the fuck's that? We're in the middle of nowhere? Bears don't knock.
Bears don't knock.
Like, who is it?
Bears don't knock.
And then I open the door and there's like a policeman there and I'm like...
Who? H-E-W, who?
So she was like, oh, you come out. I was like, yeah,
She was
yeah,
rather
no worries, alright.
attractive.
And she was like, oh, you do realise it's illegal to wild camp in Slovenia? I was like,
Well,
oh,
doing
sis,
that.
we didn't know that. She was like, oh yeah. She's like, you do realise you're on a nature reserve as well? And I was like, oh, well, we mustn't have seen that sign because it
Everything was in
there.
Slovenian,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
like-
a widely spoken language, Slovenian.
Yeah,
I mean,
and we were like, oh, we didn't know that. She's like, oh, right, okay. She's like, can I get your passport? So I went, yeah, no worries, yeah. So then goes in, David, get the passports because we're in the front of the van. I was right, get the passports, give them back out. She gives them to a colleague who was very abrupt. And she was like,
is
oh,
that good
she
cop,
was
bad cop on it?
She's like, oh, well, because you didn't know and you haven't made any mess or anything like that. We're going to fine you for that actual motorhome and not individually. I was like, all right, okay, cheers. And then the guy shouted over and went, is there a David Warren here? I went, I knew worries, I'll go get him. So I shouted, I went, David! And out he comes, half asleep and all that kind of stuff. The woman pulls me to one side and goes, oh, we've just picked his passport because he's got the shortest name out of all yours. Which doesn't make
It is
sense.
actually true.
Which doesn't make any sense.
No,
'cause you've
Dylan
actually-
No, mine.
Yeah.
Dylan Wynn, yeah.
Oh no, I'll tell you why. Because I've got a middle name.
yeah, but I've got two middle names.
I know.
Do you?
That's what I didn't get.
Oh, that is weird then.
No, they just didn't like you very much.
Yeah.
They saw your name or you.
He's the weird looking one.
So anyway, shouts David over. You kind of knew what it was, but you didn't. And then when you came outside and you seen the police, your face literally just dropped. You were like,
No, I knew there was police there.
No, but when you came out that motorhome, you looked like you literally shit yourself.
I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Mate,
I didn't. I knew there was
I was looking
police
at you.
there.
You weren't looking at you, and you looked like you shit yourself. When you came out there.
David's a
All
hard
light
man.
flashed before his eyes.
David's a hard
Anyway,
man.
you
Doesn't care
go
about
over
any
to the guy, and you went, cash or card? David was like,
cards. Debit or credit?
David was like, I've got my card. You went, no, cash. He was like, right. Okay, and he gets his wallet out like that. So it was actually cheaper to break 2 laws in Slovenia than what it would have been to actually stay on a campsite.
More
Yeah.
so-
Yeah.
I think that
Worth
was
it.
the thing, wasn't it?
€42.
Mate, worth it.
Yeah, €42 to break 2 laws in Slovenia, or averaging about €50 a night in a campsite. And we got
It
a
was
few like
actually
that.
cheaper.
We had a night like that. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll break the law more often.
That night, I think for probably all of us, but certainly for me, that was the turning point of where the trip went from being, this is great, to, oh my fucking god. Basically, in the span of that one night, well, we got fined. I got heat stroke. We were stuck in the middle of a thunderstorm in the middle of fucking nowhere, which was fun and terrifying. And my girlfriend at the time just left me on the phone through text. So it was very much you can understand why I
That-
wasn't.
Yeah,
I
I
wasn't
didn't want
the
to.
happiest.
I didn't want to
person.
put that in the episode,
for
but
the
that
next couple
that
of
was
days.
another reason why you were like a bit absent from
Oh, yeah, well, yeah,
from
no.
stuff. It was like you got like double
I
like,
got
shot.
fucked.
Yeah,
You got burnt alive.
It was.
And then
you what?
We were promised dancing bears, and I didn't get it.
It was. Yeah.
And
it was a
then-
moment
and
in
then
my life. That's for sure. It was a moment. A lot of things went very bad very quick.
I mean, most of it's on film, but then the other thing that was not on film, I mean, wasn't really on film to be honest, but it sort of is. To add, just on top of all of that, was then when we moved, because the police obviously told us we had to move quite quickly, didn't we?
So immediately packed up, went along, found a place to pull in.
Yeah.
Parked next to a picnic bench. And me and Jamie we stood on the picnic bench trying to put the awning back in because we couldn't get it in straight away.
We'd reeled it back in.
Enough.
We hadn't done anything wrong.
No, literally
But
just reeled it back in.
I think when you'd reeled it back in, you kind of noticed that it maybe hadn't gone in properly.
Yeah, it
So
wasn't
then-
quite sitting right.
Yeah, so then we pulled it, and then you were trying to.
Yeah, I climbed on the picnic bench and I was punching the fuck out of it and you were trying to move it along and it just wouldn't budge and then, we lost the ground.
Yeah.
We lost
Yeah,
the ground.
the bit in episode 1 where Badger says, if we
fuck up,
we lose a grand.
We did, in fact.
We
lose
did.
the ground.
We did.
But
do
we
that.
gained an awning, so it's all good.
Yeah, we did. We actually
We
now
have
own
an
the
awning.
awnings.
You know, I was
Even trade, baby.
I was actually that petty that when we actually found out that we lost the grand, I was like, you know what? Ask the fuckers and see if we can actually have the awning. And here we are, Jamie Clennell is stuck with a 10-foot awning in his garage.
I do love the fact that the only thing that we took away from that entire trip as a memoir is the fucking awning.
Yeah.
Which is
We
the
don't-
same size as the motorhome.
It's
and fully
massive.
extended.
Huge.
It's
We
huge.
don't have obviously the motorhome now because the place actually doesn't even have that motorhome anymore.
I really wish we could have bought it.
They've sold it on, so that's all I've got now. So, yeah, absolutely everything went wrong
On
within
that
that space of time. Too much to actually include in the episode.
Oh, okay.
Episode 4 was quite long, and there was actually a few things that I did have to cut out.
Too much to even intake. I don't
I
think
know.
any of us really took in what was actually really going wrong.
It went from that to then the hotel, which was absolutely amazing.
I don't
And the-
fuck. Well, you
Well,
say
yeah,
that.
there was the rafting as well. Oh, I mean the rafting. We could have died doing that raft.
No, you
I
definitely
mean,
could have died.
my mum was like, "You weren't even wearing helmets. What happened if you hit your
that's
head
what
off
my
the
mum was
raft?"
saying.
It's all right though. We had not life jackets on, high visors which
We
take
had
caution in
high
you.
visors on.
Oh yeah,
That would do everything.
they'd spot your corpses from a mile away.
And then you were like, "What are we doing wrong?" The Slovenian fishermen
Why
take
they were
photos
taking
of us.
photos of us? I still don't know
Can you imagine
quite
how
know
perfect
why.
it would be if you had died And as they see your body's floating, all they can see is a high vis.
Caution, idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bit when I actually saved you was genuinely probably the most testosterone I've ever had in all my life.
Mate.
Running through the,
I will forever be in your
me.
debt. You
Like,
went full Super Saiyan, ran up a fucking mountain through a farmer's field.
I don't even know how you did that.
I don't know how I coordinate myself because I
Power
couldn't
of
follow the
friendship, my
road.
guy. That's a true fucking friend.
That's
right
insane, that.
But yeah, that was an experience, run through the jungles of Slovenia. But the most funniest thing in the world was definitely when you recovered, and then you were like, yeah, Win was trying to fix the window, and they said, oh, put some olive oil on, and then you looked around, apparently you were using soy sauce.
Oh, no.
No, because I cut that out because you say, oh no, I wasn't. It wasn't very well. It wasn't very well told to the camera, but basically, I know.
You're saying that, and
It was the fact he was doing it, and at this point I was like the worst I'd ever been, to the point where if I like opened my eyes or moved slightly, I was like, I'm gonna die. And there's just wind, just fucking soy sauce in this window. And I'm like, I'm gonna die.
So yeah, there was a few things from that whole episode, because it was very long, that was cut out. You forgot to turn off the 360 camera after the stuff that were filmed at the top of Tre Cime. So and then you gave it a win. So then there was a shot that was like you know when you walked with a 360 camera. So there's that, but there was you, and it looks like you walking in high heels.
How'd you know he wasn't?
Apparently Win was the first person to complete this hike in high heels, so at least we have some footage of his world record.
Once we made it back down. Yeah, that was in, and then I took it out because the episode is too long.
So obviously, I didn't join you for this one.
No, you
still
were
feeling one of my biggest regrets of this whole trip, to be honest with you. And then I spent the entire time battling with an army of wasps that had found their way into the motorhome.
Oh god,
which was really fun.
I do need to
Fighting off
mention
an army of wasps.
I do need to mention, because thank you, Win, that there's a moment in the episode where Win's climbing up the cliff, the rock cliff, and you're like, come on, Win, and we're like, come on.
He's carrying your useless
He's carrying my bag.
Exactly.
I do have to say, he's carrying my bag, and it does weigh a ton. And oh my
fucking hell!
Fucking
Never
hell!
do that again.
I do have to say, the only reason I wasn't carrying that bag is because my sunburn was so bad that I couldn't carry the bag.
Oh,
so thank you, Win.
But you
Thank
still
you.
needed your bag of useless things to not use when we got to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, I used it, man.
Whatever.
Man's got taste.
But yeah, we got the top as well. We're like, Jamie, do you even need this stuff? And you're like, yeah, I need it. And then you didn't use a single thing.
That is just you in a fucking nutshell, though.
It's just in case.
You just
And you said that I bring too much.
You just carry pointless shit, and I'm convinced it's just so you can palm it off on other people.
You have a bag. I brought the bag today, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't used anything in it.
I also remember as well from my trip. So
it always weighs that much.
Jesus.
Should we pass it around?
God.
This is what you carried up the mountain with.
He's getting PTSD.
I know.
I'm good.
I need therapy.
Fuck that. No, fuck you.
Therapy cap.
Actually, wait. There you go. Right. There's something in
Your
it.
phone, man.
Oh shit.
Jamie, man.
Look, put the bag back. But I've got leaflets. Hey.
Oh right, yeah. Yes,
Oh,
that would be why.
There's
That'd be why.
500 in there.
Yeah.
You've
4
got
idiots
500
leaflets.
leaflet. Bog off. Yeah.
Del
Put that
Boy's
back down
delivered
there.
4 idiots leaflets.
I've delivered the 40th leaflets, boys.
Okay,
we got advertising.
We're gonna have to move this on
Come
quite
on, back
quickly.
on track.
So, moving on into episode 5, the one thing that I want to include from that, what Ethan's choking.
Chocolate eclairs are dangerous.
I take a swallow that pool.
Oh my fucking god.
So episode 5, the bit that I want to kind of highlight from that is the drone shot. Like the drone shot.
The best moment with your videographer.
Drove up Grossglockner Pass to that kind of hairpin bit, and I was like, oh, I'll get a shot of you like driving back up the bit that we'd just done. and then you were like, oh no, I'll just drive the other way instead.
Just keep
We obviously
going.
hadn't seen that bit yet.
We didn't know.
So I wasn't in the motorhome, I was just stood on the lay-by. You drove the motorhome round and I had the drone up, and I was just like... it was I wasn't tracking it automatically, it was just manually. It was just like, keep your fingers where they are, like, because the shot just, it goes on.
Smoothly
It goes
on.
on. I had to cut it, like, it eventually, for the video, otherwise it would have been too long, but it just goes on. And you just see the whole road and everything. Oh, it's amazing.
Was it our genuine reaction, like, with our voices, or was that a second reaction?
That would have been a second reaction.
I knew it, because
know,
our first reaction...
It's all fake. Everything's fake.
Yeah, so the audio over that was then from when I got back in and we drove back round.
Yeah, because our first reaction when we were on the corner, we were like, holy shit!
I'm doing that again.
The bit though that I love as well, which I obviously didn't put in the episode, but I watched it back and I filmed it on my phone. When we got a whole start, I was watching it back on the laptop. And I'm just like, oh, this is just so good. And then I pan round, and you're just like full on like out, completely on the sofa next to us.
I was gonna say, I think almost every single of like the most scenic routes that we went down, you must have got what, fucking like 5% of most of them.
I think to be honest, for me, it just blends in. It always blends in. It's like mountain.
Fair. I've seen them. Got them back home.
So then there was Holstart, which was
very nice.
It was very nice, but actually only me and Win properly saw it. Because you were, which we'll get onto in the second part, you were stressing out trying to cook and stuff like that. And
I think me and Badger just needed to be time without the kids. I think that's what that was.
I think we needed a bit of time just to like do our own thing for a bit, and but Holstart was in the evening once it had quietened down. It was really nice, and I compared it to Seaton Delaval, which was just amazing.
I remember like when we were talking about doing this and like got a bunch of photos of potential places, and it was like that was the photo. It was that photo of Holstart that made me go, this needs to happen.
So there's Holstart, and then obviously we went from there through into the Czech Republic to Prague.
Prague, baby!
The Czech Republic, I love the Czech Republic intro. That was like the whole, because as soon as you hit that, it was like a contrast, wasn't it? Because you left what was kind of like, the stereotypical Europe, pretty houses, hills and all that. And then the Czech Republic was quite different with all the Russian influence and stuff. And then there was the Prague night out, which I will let you explain what happened there, because I'm sure people will want to know what actually happened in Prague.
So the thing with Prague is that like all of the best bits of Prague happened after David fucked off.
So I just basically I was soaking. I couldn't really be bothered to stay out again until, what was it, 7 in the morning? Oh god.
The Prague night out was the first night out I'd recovered enough. And in fact, I was still in a shit ton of pain, but I was like, I'm not missing this night out. It's not happening. So of course, I just had some fucking like tissue paper by the end of it.
Tissue parrot. Toilet parrot.
This is one of the things. So in the club.
Oh no!
Of course, we're all very drunk at this point, which helped a lot with the pain I was in, so I didn't really notice.
We want to go and take a group photo.
And so group photo.
And as you do, everyone
Lovely
goes
time.
way like that. And as I went way, because we're all really wet, my hand like just accidentally slipped on his shoulder. Now, what I didn't realise, and what Ethan didn't realise was when I actually looked at my hand, and I went, "Whoa!"
The man pulled off my entire shoulder.
Yeah, it was just covered in skin.
It was just gone.
But the best part about it was, Ethan didn't actually know until I went,
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
And
then he looked at it. I was behind you, both.
So that would have been why you got back. You're like, Ethan's in pain. And, yeah.
Another iconic moment as well that I didn't get on film was when we were walking back, and these lasses were really loud. And at one point, one of the locals blokes, he opens up and he goes, "Shut up," and he just goes, "Oi, bog off."
Did you actually?
No way.
It was like
I don't remember doing that.
It was like a proper wooden window, like open them up like that. Shut up! You're like,
Oh
Fuck
god.
with Jamie. But yeah, there was really nothing much else to do at that point. And I'd gotten a bit friendly with one of these lovely lasses. So she suggested, I've got the key to the apartment. How about we leave and fuck off for a while? And I said, that's a brilliant idea. So we'll do that. So I don't know what happened to the rest of you guys. I assume you just...
Well,
you had to get him back because you.
I left you all frolicking in the rain,
I think.
having a good
This
time.
is my theory, right? You had already died on the trip, but it was fine because you were in the motorhome, so it didn't make a difference. You were there. Where
True.
we were going, you were going.
True.
However, in this situation, if you weren't in the motorhome the next day, you would then fuck up the trip for everyone else.
It's very true.
And this was
It
the
would
part
have
of
been
getting
very
back.
selfish.
Well, this was the part about getting back. So already it was like a 8-hour trip to get from Czech all the way across into Germany or whatever. And I was
Yeah,
like,
really
To
long.
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
From Prague to
I was
Amsterdam
like,
is quite.
fuck
It was
really
one of the
fast.
big ones, yeah.
So I was like, right, we're gonna have to go and find him. I was like, the only way how we can go and find him is by going with these lasses.
So basically, we put 4 idiots on in their apartment. We then walked for 3 hours, and then we got back to the motorhome, and that's when he started recording.
And then you were.
I got ditched.
It was
very
no,
slow.
no, no,
He
no,
was
no, no, no,
too
no, no,
slow.
no. We guided you back the entire
We
way. It got
did.
to the final part of the fucking
The
journey,
final corner.
and you just disappeared.
Yeah, but the corner.
And I
didn't
really
know where he
hated you at the
went.
time, so I said, "Fuck him."
I didn't know where he went.
It was like it was a
split to
split.
3.
No,
And
I
was
was sure it was 2.
It fucking wasn't. It was 3.
I was sure it was 2.
It was 1.
That's where we lost him.
So yeah, then obviously the next day was delayed, and then
Yeah.
we drove up to that national park, and then got there after it closed, which we didn't realise because we didn't do the research
I
beforehand.
wouldn't even really recommend that.
How do you
No,
how do you close a rock?
I know. Well, it was covered. It was covered quite well in the video. So there's that, and then
The video on my phone's quite funny.
yeah, I know you've
Not good.
you've actually
David won full
you've
power.
actually got me ranting because there was actually a woman
I love a
there
David rant.
that was like still there, and I was trying to like ask if there was any way that we could get up to it, and
Yeah.
and
She was
yeah,
having none of it.
and I was just like, it's not good, you know. It's
Literally, she had the
it's
high
a-
ground.
yeah.
Like, literally, she was just like, the song coming up, there's a metal gate there. What you
Yeah,
supposed
she
to do?
wasn't awesome at all. She was like, fuck it.
But that actually does have fairly lowish reviews, that thing, and a lot of
Does
it
it?
is to do with that. Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
just yeah.
Or maybe
It's
if
like-
they'd let us in, they would have boosted their economy.
Exactly.
So then we drove back into Germany, and then we did the water park.
Don't you fucking dare call that a water park.
I wouldn't call it a water
It was
park,
an
to be honest.
Eden
I'll call it
project.
more. Yeah, I would
For a water park
call
for
it
nine
more of
families.
a tropical holiday
Right.
sanctuary.
Eden
resort.
Project with the water slide.
Eden Project with a water slide is bang on.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
the reason we were all so unbelievably pissed off with you especially is because, again, before we went away and we were planning
you
this,
were gonna do it.
and we had a list of like activities we really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And one of the top ones we all agreed on was like water park, like, you know,
There's a few
thinking
good
of like
water parks that
Cyan
you saw.
Park, you know, obviously we've
There's
done
a
that
few that
before,
you'd saw.
and
that
that's
you
you know
saw.
we wanted that.
The one in Switzerland was brilliant. It literally said someone broke their ankle. And you were
That's
like,
the thing.
I want to go
So that's,
there.
yes, that's the thing. There was like 2 in Germany. The 2 in Germany. There was the one that we ended up going to. And then there was another one which was like the most dangerous water park in Germany. And I was like, that sounds fucking brilliant. And I was so geared up for it. And you assured me, no, this is going to be good. And I've been waiting for this fucking water park the entire trip. And we get in there and it was miserable.
I liked the contrast of that compared to everything else that we did on the trip because it was something different. It just showcased something different. It was a ex-Nazi Soviet hangar that had been turned into something that I thought was absolutely amazing. But so I liked that for the film.
You know what the best part of all
But
that was? You know
I'll
what the
be
best
honest,
part
I
of
didn't
all
do
that
a lot
was?
of research into the actual
The best
slides.
part
I
of
just
all
saw
of
the
that-
palm trees and I was sold.
Win. How much did you have to pay to get us all into that piece of shit?
Do you remember how much it was?
It's in the video. Yeah.
Because it was
40 quid a pop or something, wasn't it?
It was
it was over 100 euro.
Yeah, it came to about 120, 160.
I remember when he went to pay, and he turned around and he went, I need to bounce more money into my bank just to get into this fucking place. And then he went, I'm not buying David a single fucking thing.
It was about 40 £6 per person, I think. Or something. It says it in the video. So then we obviously drove towards Amsterdam. There was... Obviously, we were trying to keep ourselves entertained during the journey.
This was so hard for me.
You were playing... What song were you playing that then got stuck into his head? Which it wasn't on film, but yeah.
This is brilliant.
It wasn't on film because like we don't just walk around constantly filming ourselves, but
this whole thing, because knowing how easy it is to get into this man's mind, right? Because he is golden retriever. And of course, what's the thing you absolutely cannot do in Germany?
Like I mentioned,
like you did
in the Germany intro,
there's some things you don't talk about. So for a solid 2 days, I think we just started singing the Dad's Army theme tune non-stop. And it got to the point.
Who do you think
you are kidding,
Mr. Hitler? And
knowing,
into the shop
knowing
that.
knowing that if we sang it enough, it would get in his head, and he wouldn't be able to stop himself.
You went to get fuel, and then you walked into the shop to pay, going. Oh shit!
Absolutely fucking brilliant.
It's an earworm though, and it got in my head, and I was just not thinking, and I just whistled out loud.
And then,
say the lyrics.
It's the times you kept catching yourself doing it. That killed me.
And you kept slapping yourself as well.
Yeah,
and then we got to the Netherlands. You went absolutely mental.
Fucking love the Netherlands.
Absolutely mental.
That's because you had
you had a Rockstar Energy drink, which was hilarious. And then there was the Amsterdam.
Just to keep people going, because when you get them long
that
journeys,
was a long journey.
We
do have to say.
It was the last leg, and we were all sick of each other by that point. So
that was a really long
morale
journey.
was quite low.
So the Amsterdam night out, which was kind of cleverly done, so that I think everyone obviously knows what was going on, but we make it sound like
definitely tried our best to make your life a living hell.
Different way. Yeah, I just found it an absolute nightmare to film. There's a bit when they were in the coffee shop, and then I'm speaking to the camera, recollecting just trying to make something of it, because I was having a really hard time filming stuff, really. I'm just standing around out here, filming trees, the river, things which I'm allowed to film. The worst bit was just that you kept walking down the red light strips, where all of which obviously I didn't film, but there was a part where you apparently said that someone did think I was filming and came out and shouted.
Yeah, they weren't happy.
Well, you see, David, the reason we had to go down those streets so many times is because Badger fell in love with a prostitute.
Yeah, this is not a
honestly, right? I mean, even you can say this as well. It's like, like the Pied Piper, and everyone just seems to just follow everyone down, and you're just like... That's what everyone's like.
Just to preface, he didn't speak to her. He didn't do anything. He didn't pay.
No.
He just wanted to see her.
It was like flicking through Babe Station walking down there.
It was funny as well, because would be at points in the night where we'd all us two turn and be like, "Where's Badger?" Then you just come round and be like, "That fucking last one."
Bloody hell, man.
As soon as
I heard you say,
I was like really drunk.
Were you drunk?
But yeah, I was definitely drunk. Don't worry about that, son. And I don't know, it was just a weird feeling. It was like I was drunk and dreaming.
So yeah, Amsterdam was a nightmare for me. It was funny. I mean, you two were hilarious. Right? And then afterwards, you tried a bit of that cake thing. You just like,
oh, the brownies aren't
no. And then you were
it's the free weed that they give out at every bar. That's
the funniest part was when we got back. Was it the Caribbean bar, whatever?
I think I know which bar you mean.
Yeah, and I was
piss.
Yeah. And I was sitting there, and I was talking to some German bloke, because he's like, "Oh, he thought I'd gone to school with him," and we were just chatting, and Dave, and you come up to us and go, "Badger wants the cake," and I'm like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Okay," so I give it to him. Yeah, I just turn around. And bear in mind, we're like, it's to share. So just bring a bit up. I just see Badger going.
He's full on munching on it. I remember that because there's a really serious face you had on you. Like, just
it was like the packet was in your mouth.
You were like, this is my task. I'm going to eat this.
But to this day, he will insist, I didn't get high.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
Nah, I wasn't. I
It
was
was your
drunk,
reaction in the taxi. You were laughing at everything. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, no,
It was-
I'm drunk.
Like your issue is it kicked in when we got home. When we
No,
got to the
yeah,
hotel.
yeah, I know.
Like, come by our thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were drunk in Amsterdam. Then we got to the hotel. You were high.
Yeah.
I think that was your.
Maybe it wasn't like a really, but you definitely were. I'm sure you were. I thought.
Feel high.
The one thing very quickly.
No, honestly,
very,
I haven't
very
got time.
Very quick.
10 seconds.
We got the munchies. We went to get food. Me and Jamie found two opposite ship shops.
Yeah.
Opposite. I got mine. I turned around. 10 minutes had passed. He was still staring at the guy like hell. So I went up and I ordered his chips for him. And then he was like, these are the best chips I've ever had.
So
They were so dry.
Amsterdam was funny.
It's good, but I need water.
Before we end this part after show, we'll move on to the next part where we'll talk about how we actually did the trip, the costs of it, everything like that. I wanted to get an update on your burn. Is that actually, have you got permanent damage from that, or?
Funnily enough, funny you should ask. The healing process going quite well, I will say. However, I have noticed some bizarre markings since then. I'll get your opinion on them. I don't really know.
Right. Did you look at that?
Weird.
Could you get that replaced with 4 idiots tattoos?
I will get it on my arse.
Get the huge ultimate.
Let's get one for the trip.
It's on film.
How much would it cost?
Oh, are you?
Because we're not getting a lot from these videos.
We're getting nothing.
I could probably get it for 80.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Mom, I'm sorry.
It's gonna be big though, yeah.
It's on my arse.
Yeah, it's gonna be big.
Whole cheek.
4 idiots.
Okay.
Grand tour.
Yeah, through on each cheek.
So anyway, coming up in the next part of the after show, we've got me telling Badger that I'm going to punch him in the face. Because that's the part that we're going to get to where it's like, how did we cope with each other on the trip?
We didn't.
How did we actually do the trip logistically or the planet? Because 13 countries in 16 days.
It was a terrible idea.
Is a lot to do. So it's too much to cover in this, but next time we'll be covering all of that. So I hope you've enjoyed this first part of the after show, and we'll see you in the next part where we'll delve into all of the more informational stuff. So cheers for watching, and we'll see you in the next bit.
See
Adios!
Oi.
Yeah! Hello!